4, you'll need 2 egg yolks at room temperature, 1 teaspoon of ready-made mustard, you can use either English or Dijon, half a teaspoon of salt, 240 ml, 8 fluid ounces of vegetable oil, and 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice, or you could use cider vinegar or white wine vinegar. Traditionally, mayonnaise is made using a balloon hand whisk. However, in this instance, I'm going to be using an electric hand whisk purely because it's much quicker. Now, I've seen many videos and instructions for people using a liquidizer or food processor, and that's fine, it works perfectly well. However, you have to remember that homemade mayonnaise doesn't keep for very long, so it's best made in smaller batches, and that doesn't work that well in large food processors. Anyway, to get on with the recipe, I've put my 2 egg yolks into a large mixing bowl, and these are at room temperature, and that's actually quite important. It just helps everything to mix in much better. To that, I'm going to add the teaspoon of mustard, just mixing that in with a little spoon. And I'm also going to add about half a teaspoon of salt. And now we can start adding the oil. It's very important to add the oil very slowly. You need to keep whisking as you're adding the oil. So I have actually placed a damp cloth underneath my bowl to stop it moving about, because in one hand I'm going to have my oil and in the other hand I'm going to have my whisk. So I don't want this to be sliding around. So start your whisk going, and then I'll start to add this a few drops at a time. So I've added about half of the oil, and it's already quite thick, as you can see. So now I can continue to add the oil just in a steady stream with the whisk running at highest power throughout the addition. little while just to collect these bits around the edges. And in case you're wondering, the reason you have to add the oil so slowly is so that it mixes in completely with the egg yolks. This is called emulsification. And if you add the oil too quickly, the whole thing will split. So let me just carry on now with the last lot. I'm going to stop once again just to collect the bits. It's not imperative that you add the oil in a thin stream, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to keep that stream going. Don't worry about it. The main thing you have to think about is for it not to be added in too large amounts at a time. And that's the last of it. Finally, you need to add some acid in the form of either lemon juice or a good quality white wine vinegar or cider vinegar. And the reason for doing this is not just because of the extra flavour, but also the acidity helps prevent the mixture from splitting. So in that goes. And just give it another quick whisk just to incorporate it. Beautiful thick mayonnaise, freshly made. Now to this you can actually add other flavourings once this is done, such as fresh herbs or garlic, or even things like paprika or curry powder. So transfer to a smaller bowl. Could use a mixing bowl or the serving bowl that you're going to serve it in. And this will keep in the fridge for between 2 and 4 days, just covered with cling film. And there we have beautiful, fresh, homemade mayonnaise. And one thing I did forget to mention, don't bother using expensive olive oils. It really affects the flavour sometimes quite to its detriment. Just use a good quality vegetable oil, such as sunflower, corn oil or groundnut oil. Something that's got a very bland taste. Delicious homemade mayonnaise.